40 days and 40 nights. Now, the withdrawal from food and festivities is something that people struggle with. So let's talk about that a little bit, because a lot of people say, I'm giving up social media. That ain't no sacrifice. For real. I mean, when you look at the Bible and you say you're giving up social media, but if you're giving up social media and you giving up Facebook but you on Instagram, you really ain't giving that up. Or if you're giving up Instagram but you still on Pinterest, you ain't really giving that up. If you're giving up social media for Lent, that means that you are withdrawing totally from anything dealing with social media. That means you got to shut down your Twitter account. You got to shut down all accounts if you truly giving up something for Lent. Does that make sense? Because it's quickly crazy. No, I'm just saying. All right, so, but I'm sure you've heard people say, I'm giving up something for Lent, but on the weekend, I'm good. Have you heard people say that? Mm-hmm. Okay, but that ain't, but does the Bible say Jesus did that? 40 days. 40 whole days, all right? So, let's deal with the food. Well, let's deal with the fasting, let's deal with the food, and then let's deal with the festivities. So, if you're going to do Lent, which is Ash Wednesday, which is today, is marked by fasting, all right? And I don't know what that looks like. That's different for a whole lot of folk. Some folk, I know some folk that during the Lent season, they don't even watch TV for 40 days. I mean, that's a sacrifice. It got to be something that you showing up love. I mean, that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. 40 days without TV. But they say, I've never done it because I ain't never been led to do that. They say that once they do the fast, that they realize how much time that was taking, how much of that was taking of their time. And with other things, all right? So, if you had to give up some for your Lent season, I ain't saying that you're doing it. I mean, what are some things that you would give up? How y'all doing? Come on in, Valentine's.
I didn't see it. I was giving meat and bread.
Meat and bread. All right, y'all heard that? Brother Kevin said he giving up meat and bread.
But I had said I was going to do it Monday through Friday.
Well, let me say this. I want to say this, even if you do it Monday through Friday, at least that's something. All right? I ain't going to knock you for not doing the 7 days a week. But I mean, meat and bread, that's a sure enough sacrifice. Because, we black and we like meat. And we like bread. All right, anybody else? Anybody else?
I said I was going to do beef.
Beef?
Yes.
Okay. Beef?
Fried food.
Fried food? That's good. Anybody else? Holy Ghost. Yeah, I know about them Pepsi. Pepsi. Everybody else? So y'all just talking about food. Okay, come on. Everybody else giving up any food? Or y'all ain't made up your mind. You still praying. You got till midnight, by the way. If you're going to start, and you're not going to, if you're going to do it, or you're not going to do it.
To what? Today?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to tell everybody.
Huh?
I just did 3 days. I got to eat.
No, you can eat whatever you want to eat.
Today,
I mean, you can eat whatever you want to eat.
But you said it's not tonight.
Yeah. After midnight. All right, everybody, we talking about what we're going to give up for Lent. What kind of sacrifice we going to make? Huh? Oh, Yeah, don't worry about that. Mo ain't here. Go ahead on. Cooking Man Creek. Go ahead and say what you need to say. Okay, but probably doing this teaching, something will come in your mind. So I hear people, I hear people saying food. All right, that's what you're gonna give up certain stuff. Fried food. I heard people say we're gonna give up beef. Kev said he ain't gonna eat no meat and no bread. He's probably gonna be 163 pounds as far as that. What'd you say, man? Beef? T said fried food. Somebody else said something, whatever. Pepsis. What else? Everybody else? Alright. So what, okay, so that's food, but what festivities are you gonna give them? Because when you think about Lent season, see, that's why I'm teaching you, and that's why I'm trying to, because see, people take one aspect of what Lent is. Alright? It's fasting, it's food, and it's festivity. Alright? So what concert that you were gonna go to? That because you on Lent, you ain't going. Or what party that you ain't gonna attend because you on Lent, you won't attend. I'll wait. I mess y'all up with the festivities. 40 days.
Is that required gospel?
Huh?
That required gospel?
I mean, just festivities. Why y'all thinking like that? Y'all need time? Y'all need prayer time? Got till midnight. Huh? You got to answer what? No, you ain't got to answer in the class. I mean, it's just something to put on your mind. So, okay, so that's food, that's festivity. Some people say they don't. I mean, I don't know what y'all gonna do about the festivity. But what about the other part of Lent? Fasting. That's the part that a whole lot of people totally miss. Kevin said he's gonna give up bread and meat. Lance said he's gonna give up, what you said? Beef. T said he's gonna give up fried food. Okay, but when you gonna fast? From what time to what time are you gonna fast? That you don't eat nothing, that you don't communicate with nobody. What time are you gonna do that? Huh? Somebody said, well, I'm asleep. I heard what you said in your spirit. That's what I'm gonna fast when I'm asleep. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna get to the scripture in a minute. But we gotta deal with it because we gotta understand what Lent is and what it is not. And we have had some misnomers because we have been misinformed and have not been taught. It's more than giving up food. Alright? So if you're gonna fast, then if you're fasting, you sure enough need to be praying. That's what Jesus did. Alright? So you can't just say I ain't gonna eat nothing from 2 to midnight. I ain't gonna 2 p.m. to midnight. I ain't gonna eat that way. You can do that, I mean, but if you ain't praying, you defeating the purpose of fasting. You just gonna be up at midnight with your stomach talking to you. Instead of you talking to the Lord, your stomach gonna be talking. Alright, so all of that goes with the Lent season. Alright? So go ahead. Yeah.
So does the have to stay in there to be that long?
I mean that's on you. Some folk on medication. They can't fast no 8 hours. Alright, so when you fast, you're gonna pray. So that means if you ain't gonna eat nothing for 2 hours, you need to be praying for 2 hours. Why y'all thinking like that? I'm just putting something on your mind to think about. Because before we say we don't participate in something, know what you participate in. Be all in. Don't go, I'm on Lent. Okay, you on lit. What you doing? Oh, I ain't on social media. Well, what you ain't on? Oh, I ain't on Facebook. Well, what about Messenger? So if you ain't on Facebook but you on Messenger, hell, you still on it. You on social media. If you giving up social media, give it up. Deactivate everything. If you say this what you giving up for Lent. Lent is about making a sacrifice. It's not about what's comfortable to you. Because what Jesus went through the 40 days and 40 nights, that was uncomfortable. Alright? And so that's our period to make sacrifice. So you can't just give up Twitter. Don't nobody have me on Twitter no way but Trump. You can't just give up, say you ain't gonna be on Instagram, but you still accepting inboxes. Alright? That ain't no sacrifice. You ain't sacrificing. Sacrificing means you giving up something that you really want to do. Alright? So it's gotta be this. Why y'all look like I just bust y'all bubble and so I'm just trying to be straight. Alright. So now when you talk about Ash Wednesday, which is today, and Good Friday, it's really more common these days for people to surrender to a particular vice, such as what we just said, a favorite food. Or some people say, I ain't gonna smoke for 40 days. You don't think about stuff like that. You know, now don't tell me what you're smoking for. I mean, some folks get that up. I mean, if they like the smoke, the 40 days they give it up, that's a sacrifice. You'll have more money.
I mean, if you give it up for 40 days, you can do that.
Of course. That's the key to making a sacrifice, giving us something that you really love. Are you gonna really miss what you giving up? All right. So let's see. So whatever our sacrifice is or is not, it should be a reflection of what Jesus went through in the wilderness, and it's a test of our self-discipline. All right, and so. I'm leery of folk that on Facebook announcing or social media, I'm on Lent, I'll see y'all in 40 days. I mean, yeah, I mean, you ain't gotta make no news flash. Public service announcement is Ash Wednesday. Somebody see they, if you deactivate your page or whatever. You know they got your number, they gonna text you, what's going on? You ain't on Facebook. The key is that if you are on a fast, Bible says, first of all, we shouldn't even tell folks. That's number one. The second thing the Bible says, we shouldn't look like we own it. So if Kevin gonna give up meat, and I'm not saying, and we did this for discussion purpose to ask what we're giving up. But if Kevin giving up meat and bread, then in 40 days, he shouldn't look like he got to go to the... Yeah, he shouldn't look like we need to take him these days and pump him up with my meat. Because he should supplement his sacrifice. If he's praying, then the Lord going to give him strength. And and so the nutrients and the protein that he had, when he was eating that meat, he can replace that, supplement with something else that he won't even look like he was even making on the sacrifice. Because Jesus went in the wilderness 40 days, 40 nights, and he came out looking like Jesus. Right? And so it's about self-discipline. Now, the question is, I know a lot of people ask, why 40 days? Now, 40 days is a significant number in Scripture. All right, it's very significant. There are few things that happen in 40 days. In Genesis, the flood, which destroyed the earth, was brought about for 40 days and 40 nights. Somebody said, who just told the folk we were going to run it? Noah. Not Nick Noah. Alright, but the original. Alright, so Noah told the folk that it was going to rain 40 days and 40 nights. The Hebrews spent 40 years in the wilderness before reaching the land promised. You know about that. Alright, so this number 40 is something. Moses fasted for 40 days before receiving the 10 commandments on Mount Sinai. Alright? Jesus spent 40 days in the wilderness in preparation for his ministry. Now, understand that 40 days, Jesus fasted 40 days in the wilderness for his preparation for his ministry. What was he preparing to do in those 40 days? He knew what he had to do, but he was making preparations for what was to come. Now, the whole thing is, they don't want to play 4 minutes. Or they don't want to fast for 4 minutes. We have made, we joked about it, but we made all kind of excuses why we can't give up something that we really love. All right? We can't not watch TV for 40 days. Why you can't? It's not that you can't, you just don't want to. That ain't your desire. So, what I'm saying is, in this season of Lent, let's look at the sacrifice that God has made, that Jesus has made for us. You mean to tell me for 40 days, now them first couple of weeks, you're going to have to tarry, you're going to have to speak in tongues, you're going to have the saints praying, all that kind. Them first couple of weeks work, but if you can ever get over them first couple of weeks, then the rest of it will breathe. Now, you may take the suggestion that Brother Kevin doing, you might have to do the weekend, but see what people do. Now, even though he said he's going to sacrifice and eat a bread, that don't mean you eat a loaf of bread on Saturday and Sunday. that don't mean you store up. You save up I'm Monday through Friday. Then you come back Saturday and you got a whole sunbeam. It don't. Why the bread don't smell no more? You can't even smell the bread no more. Well, sometimes it don't smell right. They're organic. But anyway, that's a whole other stuff. But anyway, so it doesn't mean that because you're on fast, because you give us stuff for Lent, that you indulge on the days that you not doing. All right, you do it in moderation. Even if you're doing 5 days, you taking off 2 days, you still don't need to. If you're giving us sweets, that don't mean you just need to eat you a whole, bake you a cake. I'm looking at Walter. Bake you a cake on Friday and eat it up before Monday. That don't mean that's not what that means. All right. Any question? Any question? All right. So let's look at the scripture. Let's look at Psalm 91 first, and then we're gonna go to Mark chapter 9. Let's look at Psalm 91 first. And then even with the season of Lent, there's a certain color that goes with the season of Lent. I'm going to deal with that. There is culture, Eastern and Western culture. We're going to talk about that. Western churches are different from Eastern churches about Lent. Western churches exclude Sunday. All right? But Eastern churches include them. All right? So that's what I was telling you about that. So, are we a Western church or are we an Eastern church? Nick, don't answer. Are we a Western church or are we an Eastern church? Why? Huh? Why are we a Western church? Well, T said that. What y'all say? We're a Western church or an Eastern church? If you don't know, just say you don't know. We're Westerners. All right, we're Westerners. All right, I ain't gonna give y'all no test tonight. Don't worry about it. All right, so you got Psalm 91. All right, so let's see. So when we talk about Lenten, when we talk about making the sacrifice, we talk about what Jesus has done for us. Let's look and see what Psalms 91 says. Most of you know this scripture quite well. I don't even know what version it is. Psalms 91 says, whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from their deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wing you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midnight. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. Verse 9, if you say the Lord is my refuge, and you make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against the stone. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. Because He loves you, because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for He acknowledges my name. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble, and I will deliver him and honor. With long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. And so basically the Psalms is saying, listen, if you are in God, there is nothing that can harm you, that God is our refuge, He's our fortress, a very present help in the time of trouble. We trust Him. He's gonna save us from all of this stuff. And these are the things that when you are fasting or when you're in a Lenten season, that you got to remind yourself, because what the devil would do, first of all, he's going to question why you doing it. Why are you doing this? You're doing this out of formality. You ain't gonna get nothing out of this. But then you have to know the scripture. You have to know what God says, and you have to know what He will do. He said in verse 5, you will not feel the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day. Do you realize that there's some Christian folk that scared of night? Afraid to go out their house at night. All right. So we need to understand that He is our refuge, and in Him we can take comfort knowing that He's always going to protect us. Now, I know that's easy said than done. You know, things happen, and let me tell you, God is misrepresented a whole lot. What has happened today in the state of Florida to those, I think, 17 victims now that have been killed, God didn't do that. That ain't how God works. And so a lot of people say, well, God knew. Yeah, He's all knowing, but that is not how God operates. Do you actually think that God operates in a way that He will take 17 children from their parents? That's when you got to know your scripture, you got to know your Bible, you got to know your God. God says, the Bible says that the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. All right? And so at what point are we going to understand as a nation, as the United States of America, as these 51 states that we call the Union, the United States of America? You understand we have 51 states, not 50. We have 51 states. That the state of the state of Hawaii, Mr. Trump, is a state. At what point is America and Christians don't understand that you can keep disrespecting God and keep acting like He don't exist? I watched TV last night, a commercial came on that I've never seen before from Ron Reagan's son, Atheist for America. And then at the end of the commercial, it says he's a long life atheist, and he's not afraid to burn in hell. And I said, well, I'm so glad that he's not afraid, because that's exactly where we're going. All right? And so how long are we going to mark out God and say that he doesn't exist, that he doesn't control, that he doesn't super rule the earth? How long are we going to say that and he not allow things to happen? All right? I didn't say God did that in Florida, but he allowed it. Now, we all want to talk about the God of strength and courage, but we don't want to talk about the God of judgment. We leave that part of God out because that ain't the part that'll shout you. We don't want to talk about God's judgment and his wrath. We all want to talk about his grace and his mercy. And we thank God for his grace and his mercy, but if you read your Bible, grace and mercy gonna cease. Because he says, I'm coming back, and I'm coming back for a church without a spot or a wrinkle. Now, that doesn't mean that he's coming back for a perfect church. But what that means is he's coming back for a church that's trying. And some folk ain't trying. Because when you don't want them in schools, you don't want them at football games, you don't want them at basketball games, but time stuff happens, you want to call it. Somebody get killed. Oh, we want to call. We need God. We need to pray. We need to fast. We need to come together as a community. And I don't know. I don't understand that when are we gonna get? And here's the thing. I want to say this emphatically that I feel sorry for any parent that has to lose a child. I feel my heart goes out to them, but my heart also goes out to the family of the person that did it. Why? Because I'm a Christian. Y'all missed it. See, you can't say you're a Christian, and even though, God forbid, if somebody killed one of my sons, I'm commanded by the book that I gotta forgive the person that killed him. We don't wanna talk. And then let me just say this. I don't. In these days and times, it makes no sense for any person to have to die. If God forbid, both my sons tragically died tomorrow, all right, I ain't gonna have to fry no fish. You know why I ain't gonna have to fry no fish? Because I have insurance and I have an insurance rider, and that rider covers them until the age of 27. That means that as long as they live to get 27, if something happened to them, then I will be able to bury them. Now, the question is, this is what we do. See, we want to find sympathy for stuff that don't make no sense. And I tell people, if you can buy a pack of cigarettes, you can buy some insurance. But if you live in your life like you ain't got to die, the Lord is my refuge. I know that, but the Lord gave me common sense. And so, if I'm so tore up, if me and Kara so tore up, why you on social media? Your child did. Oh, I'm going to talk about it tonight. It makes no sense. If my baby has died tragically, then hell with y'all on Facebook. I ain't finna argue with nobody. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to talk on no camera. Get the camera out of my face. Because what I'm trying to talk to the Lord. Because now I got some hate in me. And I understand that. You both have it. But you got to pray that God remove that. And so what happens is that the church folk co-sign on stupidity. Like, share, comment, I'm praying for you. You can't be a Christian and choose when you love a person. That ain't how God works. Because what if God chose that when we were in our mess and we were still doing what we want to do and big bad enough to do that, he just didn't love us? Can't do that. Can't do that. All right? So, if the Lord is your refuge, then you got to understand that God can handle the folk way better than you. And the way that you get back at folk is not get back at them. Is that you pray. Because when you try to get back at folk, it's a cycle. Look what we got going on. We got an epidemic in our community because we got families against families. We got folks fighting at graveyards. They know they gonna do that. But now you ain't got to watch it. You ain't got to share it. Somebody asked me the other day, have you seen the video? I told y'all last Wednesday, the people at my job, where it happened in Tuscaloosa. Okay. You ain't seen it? No. I don't want to see it. All right? So, let's get back to this. So, if we are truly making a sacrifice for this Lenten season, we got to understand that we got to pray the scripture. But the only way that you can pray the scripture is you got to know the scripture. Now, a lot of folks depend on certain people to know scripture. But you need to know scripture. You need to know what the word says. The Bible says, study to show yourself approved or work with yourself approved. Not everything the preacher say, amen. Check it out. Make sure it's right. Because folk twist up. Huh? Yeah, you can easily amen to the wrong thing. Alright? So we gotta do business. So if you're in this Lenten season and you're making the sacrifice and you don't have to tell nobody what your sacrifice is, what I want to talk to you about tonight and what I want to really hit home about is just don't do one aspect. If you're giving up food, you still need to fast. If you're giving up going to the ball game, you still need to fast. If you're giving up not buying so many clothes, you still need to fast and pray. For 40 days. However that look. You can take it off weekend off. So, let's look at Mark, Mark 9. Let's look at that. And you got Mark 9, verse 2. You got it? All right. Verse 2 says, after 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John with him and led them up a high mountain where they were all alone. The first thing that you got to understand is you can't take everybody with you. When God is doing something with you, and He's about to take you on another level, everybody can't go. Quit trying to tote folk that don't want it. You just read it. I just read it. Verse 2, after 6 days, Jesus took not all the disciples, but Peter, James, and John with him and led them up a high mountain when they were all alone. When they were all alone, there he was transfigured before them. Sometimes you ain't going to experience God like you need to experience him until you by yourself. See, some folk want to experience God in the sanctuary while praise and worship going on, while the preaching is going on. There are a lot of times that you ain't going to experience God until, listen, sometimes stuff will hit me, like I tell y'all, you'll catch it when you get home. Sometimes I catch stuff when I crank my car in the morning from the day before. The Holy Ghost just dropped me in my spirit. I go to cutting up right there. Boom! Into him. Oh, Lord Jesus. Alone. And so you got to understand that your walk with Christ is not a family plan. Now, a lot of folks think Christianity is a family plan. You in a family, but you own your own plan. And so just because your minutes ran out, you got Roman charges because you done roamed on the wrong street. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That's you and your plan with God. Don't make your plan my plan. You got to understand that Jesus said, that the Bible says, after 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John with him and led them up a high mountain where they were all alone, and there he was transfigured. Now watch this. I like this part. When you look at verse 3, Bible says that his clothes became white, whiter than anything in the world. And there, watch this, Peter, James, and John. They on the Mount of Transfiguration. Jesus transfigured himself. And verse 4 says, and there, before them, Elijah and Moses appeared. And not only did they appear, they talked to Jesus. Man, y'all better get this. I'm talking about when you led by God and he tell you to do something. Brother Kevin came to my office this evening and said at 12, did he say 12:20? 12:20, he said something was just on him. That we need to do altar call and that he needed to pray. We ain't talk before service. I didn't even see him before service. But when you move by God's Spirit, what he will do, he will affirm and confirm. And so when I pointed to him, because somebody, I think that was last, or somebody, who was next to you? Somebody thought I said, no, him. He almost came unglued because he knew what God had told him. And so here we are. We on the Mount of Transfiguration. Jesus closed and changed. Here is Elijah and Moses, and they were talking to Jesus. Now watch Peter. Peter said, verse 5, I ain't old enough to be listening to this, basically. I'm paraphrasing. Peter said, should we even be here? He said, wait a minute, listen, you been telling me, watch this now, because you got to understand. Jesus there, Moses there, Elijah there, and they talking to Jesus, and Peter just happened to be in the room. Peter said, wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute, let's build 3 tabernacles. One for you, one for Moses and Elijah, because see, ain't nobody going to believe this. I know what Peter thinks. Ain't nobody. But verse 6 says, he did not know what to say because he was so afraid. Has God ever done something for you in your life that scared the living daylights out of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lord.
Yeah, you can't understand. It's so scary. All right. Karen had a procedure the other morning, and I was just, you got insurance, but my God, but sometimes, shoot, you wonder why you got insurance.
Right.
So the deductible for the procedure was $350. And so Carol was gonna cancel the appointment. I said, no, don't cancel the appointment. We'll deal with that when we get there. Now I thought it was $300. When I got there, it was $350. Hold it up. And the lady said, Carol checking in, the lady said, how you gonna pay for the deductible? Carol looked back at me. Carol looked back at me. I gave her a card. But anyway, something told me, don't worry about that. You got it, pay it. Okay, son, I get it. But the next day I got to work, it was still bothering me. I said, I need to say something. But I don't think my colleagues, they ain't really going to the doctor. Well, most of them don't have the insurance, but I got the insurance. I said, I need to say something. So I was gonna say something to the office manager, and some told me don't say nothing. Then I was gonna say something to the HR director, some told me don't say nothing. I was gonna talk to the clinical manager, some told me don't say nothing. And then the CEO came in, said say something. So I said, after morning meeting, I need 2 minutes of your time. Okay. I said, man, I said, you know, I gotta have insurance, I got a wife, got a family, got small children, everything, blah, blah. I said, well, man, we went to the doctor yesterday. I said, this is my first time really using it like this. So a specialist, I said, man, my deductible was $350. He said, really? I said, yeah. Then he began to tell me what he paid. I said, okay, well, what they got to do with my $350? He said, well, I was looking at some, and for some reason, when I woke up this morning, $350, it just said I need to give it away. That I need to give away $350. Cash. Not a gift card or anything like that. I said, okay. Now, you know, I'm about to shout. So I just spent $350. This man said he woke up and he said he had on his heart to let somebody $350. But little did I know, it wasn't me. Hold on. Wasn't me. So he said, what I want you to do, he said, there's somebody that we have on service that needs a little help. I want you to go to the house with you. Okay. I'll go to the house. And we gonna, I want you to pray, do a little talk, and we're gonna bless this family. Okay. But now, let me tell you about my flesh. He was like, well, I want you to ride with me. I said, no, I almost said I didn't want to ride with you. But I was mad because I thought, I said, I'll follow you over there. I said, I'll follow you over there. And so I did, and on the way over there, the Lord dealt with me about, hadn't I supplied your needs? And hadn't I given you some of what you want? And then you have the funds, you didn't have to make payment arrangements, then you have the $350, then the card clear, all this kind of stuff. So by the time I got to the house, and we went to the family that I have never seen, not my patient, and I talked, and they told me about the situation. And my boss came out with his $350. I was feeling on my coat for some reason. I usually keep my checkbook in a zipper on my coat. I unzipped the coat, and there was an envelope from Christmas that I forgot about. Like, you know how you got a hole in your inside of your pocket? I'm talking about it was down in there, embedded. So Rick talking to them, and it was $350. $350, $300 bills and a $50 bill in a bank envelope. So I'm getting happy. I just missed $350. I'd have found $350. God, you bad. So right before I got ready to pray, Ray said, I'm turning over to Jeff, and he's gonna pray with you, and we gonna make sure you stay in contact with you. I'll get ready to pray, Walter, and the Lord said, give it to him. You know I had to argue with the Lord. It was silent in the house. And Ray was like, Jeff, you all right? I wasn't saying that. Because I was trying to tell the Lord, And some came over me. I got so, started shaking, and I said, even though I'm not the CEO, I said, I represent Christ. And I said, I'm going to match what my CEO has given you. I just found this in my pocket. And it's obviously for you. This lady broke out running through the house. I said all that to say this, that sometimes God puts you in situations to see what you're going to do. Now, I'm still hot about the 350. I still want it. It's like I found it, but I lost it. But I do know this. What gave me great joy was, and I tell y'all all the time, it was more blessed to give. I could have been in her situation and needed it, but it was more blessed to give and receive. I didn't mean to take up that much time, but that did something to me. It frightened me. So, the Bible says, verse 7, a cloud appeared to cover them, and a voice came from the cloud and said, this is my son, whom I'm well pleased. Listen to him. Verse 8, when they looked around, they no longer saw anyone except Jesus. And as they were coming down the mountain, Jesus gave them orders not to tell anyone what they had seen until the Son of Man had risen from the dead. We would have been texting for him.
Would have been going live.
Man, look at me and Moses. Me and Moses. Oh my God.
Right.
We selfing it up. Watch this. I keep telling people that Jesus is into details. When he tells you to do something, you got to follow his instructions. He says, now watch this. This is what happened to the saints. Now we'll go on the mountain. We'll go up the mountain. But the Bible says as they were coming down, Jesus gave them instructions. See, after you get through shouting about the word that you received, what are you going to do with it when you come down? When you come down off the mountain, what you going to do? You still going to go back to cussing? Jesus gave them instructions. Don't tell anybody what they seen until he rises again. Now, watch their obedience. Verse 10 says, and they kept the matter to themselves, discussing what rising from the dead. But they didn't even know what that meant. What you talking about? Okay, you tell us don't tell nobody. The only people we can talk to about it is us. We don't even know what you, sir, we don't even know what you're talking about. Like, what does that mean? Peter, James, John like trying to figure out what it means, rising from the dead. Now, watch this. You can be with somebody and still not know him. Can talk to them every day, can be in their physical presence every day and still don't know them. Because Jesus didn't show them everything about him. He showed them some stuff, but watch this. People don't pay attention. It's just like your mom. Back in the day, I mean, you know, you thought your mama was a psychic, but she just, mama's got intuition. The very day that you done skipped, how was school today? Wait a minute. Mother, what you asked me? How was school today? Oh, it was good, it was good. What y'all did? You got any homework? Just setting you up. Mom, we ain't got no homework. I mean, when we had a little math or whatever. Now, you don't know Mr. Johnny that saw you getting out the car at the school when he was passing by. You in the back of the school, he passed by back school. He done saw you getting out of the car. He done called your mom. Your mom already know you wasn't at school. Now, this was pre-truancy officers and all that stuff y'all got. What this automated stuff that they got when the children ain't at school. This was pre all that. We had neighborhood watch before it was popular. We called them nosy old folks. Right. That's what they were. What they actually was looking out for. So your mama baby you and asking you, did you do this? Did you? Now she already knows. But nothing clicks in your mind that out of all the days, why you asking about school day? You ain't been asking. But you go ahead on the procedure answer. Now, watch this. What mamas did was, sometimes they ain't get you right then. Let's go all through the evening. And see, what we didn't know is because our parents know us like Jesus knows us, they know when we acting shady. So because your antennas that went up a little bit, you done start cleaning up, want to cook, want to mop. You want to do all this stuff. And it ain't even the weekend. We ain't cleaned up till the weekend, you know what I'm saying? We ain't clean. It ain't the weekend. You want to mop, you want to vacuum, you know what I'm saying? You want to dust, you getting on top of the chair, dusting blinds and everything. You doing all kinds. Just staying busy. You don't realize that she know you. And that's how God. And that's how God is. God knows when we faking and when we sincere. And so your mama lets you do, she let you, she want a house thing, so she cook. You want to cook, then let you cook. So you think you've gotten by. Week goes by. She don't say that. 2 weeks goes by. She don't say that. 3 weeks go by, you say that. You forgot all about it. Then one day, out the blue, come here. Now, you looked me dead in my face and told me you was at school. And Mr. So-and-so, what can you do with it? Jesus gave them specific instructions not to tell anybody what they had said. The question is for us tonight, as we get ready to go, why did Jesus tell them don't tell anybody? He says, this is when I want y'all to tell them, when I rise from the dead. It was not time. Sometimes, Zion, I want to say this. It can be your time, but not your turn. Y'all gonna get that. This is a perfect day for single folk to be depressed. What you depressed about? What you depressed about? Everybody else, these folks faking and fronting and putting all this stuff on the book. What you depressed about?
Know the story.
You want a fake boot? What you depressed about? I'm almost 50. Yeah, you almost 50. It can be your turn, but it don't have to be your turn. You want it to be your turn. Because you can move out of time and it not be your turn. And because you didn't wait your turn and God had to net just what you asked for. And because you couldn't wait, you done forfeited the gift. Because you said, oh, it's 7 o'clock. Oh, it's time now. We got to go. I'm finna marry the next thing. The next person that say something to me. If he got 2 teeth and they together, I'm gonna marry. And if he got a good job and a good Social Security check, I don't care what nobody say. It's my time. It's my turn. But it can be your turn, but not your time. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. But if you are in tune, watch this, if you're going to do it, if you're going to do it right, here's the thing. In your house, if you're doing Lenten season, if you're in this season of Lent, the folk that stay with you ought to catch you praying. Sometimes doing these 40 days, you need to wake the house up in prayer. I'm talking about going in. If you really want God to do something in these 40 days, you got to do something that you ain't never done before. Some of the folk in your house don't even know you know how to pray. They ain't never heard. You talking about you praying every day. Yeah, in the bed. They ain't never heard you. Men, we got to start leading our families in prayer.
Amen.
Noah is 2.5. Noah is 2.5 years old. And Noah already praying for me. You know what he said? I think she told me what she said. You know what he prayed about last night? He said, bless, I pray for Auntie Sheila Candy. Now, that's funny, but here's what a 2.5 year old already knows. When he sees Sheila, he know he getting something. Yeah. He know he getting a blessing. So what he praying about, he wanted to continue. Y'all ain't getting it. No, I'm finna help y'all. He's praying about a gift that he want to receive.
That's all right.
He don't want it to stop. He knows she coming. And matter of fact, when she don't have it, he is still anticipating.
Wow.
Some of y'all been praying about stuff, and because it ain't came yet, you have bagged off on it. But God is saying, if you faithful, if you do what you need to do in these next 40 days, if you make a sacrifice like you need to make a sacrifice, you ain't seen that yet. I'm done. So what you gonna do? You gonna make a sacrifice for the Lord, or you gonna make excuses? Because I like meat. I like meat. Chicken and fish, to be exact. And I don't care what his first name is, as long as his last name, chicken or fish. I don't care if he's a snapper, I don't care if he's a red, I don't care if he's a whatever he is, a grouper. If his last name fish, I'm for it. I don't care what his first name is. If his last name chicken, baked, fried, laid to the side. Boil, barbecue. But I gotta make a sacrifice. I gotta fast. I gotta pray. I gotta give up food that I like. And I gotta give up festivities that I like because I need something from God. Jesus went in that wilderness for 40 days, and here's the part that people don't teach. The reason that he had to go in the wilderness for 40 days because Jesus was in the same thing we in, flesh. It was getting rough. He knew the end was coming. He was like, I don't know if I want to do this. How I know that? Because the Bible says when he was in the wilderness, he said, let this cook. I don't want to do this. He quit. Jesus actually quit. He quit. He said, let this cup pass me. But the next verse said, nevertheless, let your will be done. So maybe in these 40 days, the reason that you ain't getting what you need is because you ain't telling God, let your will be done. In me. The will for my life, let it be done. And so when I pray with my patients that's on hospital, I don't pray that they get up off their sick bed. I don't pray these miraculous paths and these oil them down and all this kind of stuff. I pray that God will be done because sometimes God heals on the other side. And from some stuff I see, it's rough. I'm done. Any questions on line or everybody at the Valentine's Day?
Problem.
Huh?
Problem.
Okay. We done?